Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to City Skylines Mass Transit and JBPG City. And as you can see, I have made some tweaks to the diverging diamond. It just wasn't wide enough, that was the biggest issue. So it was having a lot of trouble with this kind of centre section here. Traffic queuing up too much and overlapping as they try to filter across this section here into the right lane. So I have tweaked it ever so slightly, as you can see. Annoyingly, still the traffic doesn't want to merge until it gets halfway across the bridge. That's the point there where it wants to merge, as opposed to at this point here where they could just go straight into the correct lane. They wait until they get halfway across the bridge to do it. It doesn't seem to matter how long the bridge is, it's always at that point. I think it's because that's where we have that column there, so it recognises that. It doesn't recognise that as a single piece of road, if that makes sense. It splits it into two pieces, and it recognises that piece as the one where it needs to do the junction change. So you get this weird kind of samba snake kind of thing in the middle as the traffic tries to decide which lane it wants to get into. It's very strange. But everything else about it is now working absolutely fine, as you can see. Let's just speed time up a little bit. So I have gone and reworked it, as you can see, put in these wider stretches that go down to the freeway at this angle, and it was mainly because whenever we get a flurry of traffic, a little surge in traffic, it just meant traffic was queuing halfway down to the bridge or even over the bridge, and this now has eliminated a lot of that issue there. So you can see it does get a little busy, but it does keep traffic flowing reasonably well. And we've got a 3-lane connection down here. Again, traffic waits until it gets to this little bit here, and that's where it does its lane changing. Again, it's maddeningly frustrating. It's only traffic that comes off this stuff here that actually goes into these two lanes, really, until the last second. But everything else about it seems to work pretty well. So a little tweak, and it makes it run much smoother. And I did change things over here a bit as well, as you can see. So we now have, on this bridge that we had coming across here, we now have this going up and over the freeway here, and joining up to this section here. This has been now made into a double lane, so this has been reworked ever so slightly. The loop that came around here and went underneath and then joined back up around here, obviously that's gone, and we've just gone with this connection here instead. And then that runs across here. It's a triple lane, so that you can then split off onto the diverging diamond. It just cleans everything up and makes it, look better, run smoother, and also provide better transport links to various different areas as well. So there's not an over-reliance on the freeway and a single freeway connection. You can see the Lucas loop now runs so much smoother now that we've made some of these changes. We're not getting these monstrous tailbacks, even though it's a busy time of day, so traffic is definitely running a lot smoother there. And what I've also done, and literally just done this, is I've just upgraded these off ramps as well. They were just standard dual carriage, standard one directional road. I've just basically switched that to freeway road instead now, just to speed traffic up on those a little bit. Still left those sections as they are, so traffic will slow down before the roundabout. And then again, just there, just upgraded the on and off ramps to freeway tarmac instead. And then I've made some changes over here. So this is Johnson Industrial Park, and I've just rezoned it ever so slightly. In fact, actually, I think there is a blue dot somewhere that I need to get rid of. There's that little blue dot. There we go, get rid of that. So I've just rezoned this ever so slightly, as you can see. I've taken away the green housing that was along here because it was getting complaints about pollution and noise and low land values and stuff. So we'll probably put some offices in these blocks just around here to separate the two areas. And then I've rebuilt Bedford Square over here, as you can see. Oops. Just need to change that because I've been reworking this little bit over here, which is why that's changed. Not quite sure why you have that little gap running down the middle there. It's a bit strange, but there we go. I don't want a house right on the corner of the roundabout there. So Bedford Square is this area has been rezoned again, and new district is Bedford Square. And I've also updated Binney Heights. Now this is a really well located position in the sense that it's got access here to the highway, sort of on and off ramps just there, to whiz across to the Lucas Loop and then go straight across that way and go into the city over there. Let's just quickly empty that graveyard. And then if we go this way, then we can come down here and we've got the diverging diamond just there. And then if we carry on down here, we've got the Workman Industrial Estate, and obviously we've got the Johnson Industrial Park, and we've got all of this half of the city over here. This is a really good location for a sort of municipal dump kind of area. So Binney Street has been reworked and expanded, and I've actually created Binney Heights, and I've done this for two reasons. One, I wanted to drop in an extra couple of these recycle plants over here, these incinerators, just to have like a central location that can go off and deal with trash in all directions. And also, I've heard someone complaining about their landfills filling up ridiculously quickly since the patch that we got recently, and I haven't used these since before the patch. So I wanted to drop 3 of these in just so I can monitor those and see how quickly they fill up. See if they fill up really, really fast. Now, admittedly, they shouldn't fill up too fast because we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 incinerators right opposite them. But, you know, they should still be sending out trucks and they should still be just dumping straight in there. So we'll keep an eye on those. We'll see how quickly they fill up. They've not been in that long. 2% full, 1% full, and 3% full. So we'll check those again at the end of the episode and see how quickly they're filling up. Like I said, I don't know if it's just a case of poor planning on that person's part in terms of the way their city is laid out, that they're just constantly using up, you know, trash without actually growing enough to be able to unlock the incinerator, or if it is a bug. So we'll kind of keep an eye on how quickly those fill up and check them again towards the end of this episode. And then over here, everything's really looking really nice now. You know, the buildings have leveled up a bit. You know, our freeway connection here is working really nicely. Traffic's moving off fast in all directions, as you can see. It's really good to see. Our freight terminal works really nicely, and our monorail is working as well. As you can see, we're getting good service of people, you know, coming in and out of the monorail here. You see, not massive numbers of people using that service because a lot of them are still driving, but it is taking some trips off the road, which is good to see. And obviously we've got a big commute coming over this way as well, so we still have a fair bit of work to do to finish everything off. Let's go ahead and just quickly drop in those offices that I wanted to put in to separate out these areas. Let's drop in a little bit more. Let's go to select. Let's take that block out, rezone that. Yeah, we'll leave that block separating out like that. And we'll leave that block just there like that. I do need to rezone this stuff. That got changed up because of the changes I made to the railway. So we'll just fix those. There we go. And then just to encourage those buildings to respawn at the right size, we'll just take those buildings out there. Now they should zone in on those individual blocks there, hopefully. And that's killed our need for industry look. You know, it's completely maxed out our zoning requirements. What is going... Ah, I see. Traffic's wanting to queue across that way. I think, because that's a main way in, we should probably upgrade that road. At least, at the very least, just there. I get the feeling that most of it's just going to go straight over anyway, but you never know. We might actually get some traffic that wants to turn off. Oh, of course, the traffic that wants to turn off wants to turn left. So, oh, there we go. We are getting some right-hand traffic. Okay, so it's, yeah, it's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. Let's take that all the way across. Let's take it all the way in. There we go. So we have our slightly wonky, weird little junction just there. But it does seem to work a little bit better. And of course we can now get more traffic queuing up in here, so hopefully delays won't be quite so long. Oh, traffic trying to shortcut and nip ahead and merge in there. They just hate people who do that when you're driving and someone just bombs down an escape road and then tries to merge back in front of you when you've got upcoming lane closure or something like that. It's so frustrating. Right. Let's check our zoning first of all. Our district zoning. Yep, that's all covered. Okay, that's good. We still need to do some work over here, so we need to start thinking about bringing this freeway back up to this height. Now that's quite a big step to kind of get up there, so we're going to try and give it a bit of a helping hand. I think from here, if we take these out to there. Now I want to go to soften terrain. Basically what I want to try and do now is drag these out a little bit. We're going to start to climb up here. Let's also try and level this out a little bit. So we'll create some steps like this. And then set the next level there. Create some more step. And then again we can use our soften terrain tool to try and slope these together. Smooth that all off, as you can see. Make this a slightly more believable landscape. And give us the chance to bring the freeway up to the right height for this upper section up here. There we go. Now I am going to need to lower the terrain a little bit by the look of it. I think I might have got a bit too much on that bit there. Yeah, I have. So I'm going to need to pull that out a bit more. And let's take the strength of it down a bit. So it's not so severe. There we go. We're starting to get a nice kind of gradual slope that's going to be more conducive to raising this up while we also simultaneously start to build a bridge up to this upper level. So let's start making sure that everything up here is a good height. Let's see if we can maybe trim this down a touch. Let's go really strong. So this is going to be our big area up here, and then we'll have an airport somewhere off over this section, and we'll also be able to create another freeway connection that runs down towards the oops, I'll have to tidy that up again. We'll create a freeway connection that'll run out over here towards the industry area, so we'll probably have a freeway connection coming across here somewhere, which will then link up to this freeway over here. It's kind of the plan, I think. That's roughly how it's working out in my head. So I just want to kind of bring this... Oh, we've run out of soil. Not surprising. Let's take some from here. There we go. I'm going to burn through soil really quickly doing this, kind of leveling this out. But again, this will help with our flood defences for this section, having a nice high bank. This is as large as it'll go, isn't it? Yeah. I do kind of wish we didn't have soil requirements with the terraforming. It would make this more interesting. You could really sculpt away to your heart's content and completely, drastically change, you know, one of these stock maps that we get given, but with a limit on how much soil you can hold and move at any one time. You've got to kind of really think about stockpiling stuff, and it just becomes a real pain just to try and get stuff done with terraforming sometimes. I do think there's a better way. It's just a question of finding it and being able to act upon it. Almost out of soil again, look. It's crazy. There we go. Let's take another big blob of soil. We'll clean that hill area up once we're finished with our city building. That's kind of just our sort of like soil dump at the moment. There we go. Fill in that section in there. So that's pretty good there. Let's do the same along here as well. I think let's raise up this bank a little bit. gone too high, possibly. I know that this is going to cause some major issues when the river gets down to the far end. That is too high. Let's dial that back a bit. The other problem is I've just widened the riverbank a little bit there, so that's sorry, just made the river a little bit narrower at the entrance there, so that's potentially going to raise things up. So I am going to have to terraform that back down again in just a moment. There we go, we'll smooth that off. Okay, that's better. Oops. Set our new level so we can just put a slightly steeper lip on that now that it's been smoothed a bit. Okay, I need to do a little bit more tweaking, so you have to bear with me while I get this right. May need to completely rework that junction or that bridge. I haven't decided yet. I do kind of like the idea of it sloping down like that. That's the entrance to our waterfalls and the mouth of the river. And that kind of leads down to the docks. Let's start smoothing this off. And again, we'll just take the strength off a little bit so it's not quite so severe. Okay, so how does that look? Yeah, actually looks kind of alright. I kind of like that. So we can actually, turn this into a another sort of direct freeway connection. Obviously we've got that one there that leads over to that district. and then eventually leads up to the freeway over there. What we can do is we can start looking at dragging this road down here, and then bringing it across to a kind of a junction over here. So I like the idea of having a roundabout just here, quite a big sized roundabout. So let's find a good starting spot. I do want this to be a pretty large roundabout. I think that hopefully will be enough. Because I do expect this to be quite busy. And the main purpose of this is going to be to kind of just feed traffic off in a couple of areas. So we'll have a junction coming out this way, which will go over to here and link up with this. I might have a connection that runs down here into a reworked junction that way, and then obviously we'll have a connection that comes off this way. So yeah, that'll be kind of cool. In fact, yeah, let's do that. Let's work on that premise. So we want to change the height of the terrain. So I want that to go down. Okay, that's a bit too a bit too severe, but we do want this terrain to come out at this kind of height here. So that we can merge our roads down here. There we go. So that's our merging point for this junction. And now what we want to do is try and smooth. Let's go stronger. And smooth our pathway up this section here to where our connection's going to come from. This could be quite an interesting angle running down here. Let's give it a try. There we go. What's the slope on that? Look, that's pretty steep, isn't it? Yeah, I need to soften that out. Oops, wrong tool set. So, again, yeah, we'll set our level there. We'll try and squeeze that out a bit more. Go back into soften. Let's try this again. Ah, there we go. That's... You know what? Screw it. Let's do it there. Yeah, there we go. So we have that connection there. What's that looking like now? Smoother. Better. Little rough just here. Let's see. Smooth. There we go. Still a bit rough. Let's try that again. Oh, that's very steep. Let's bring it down a bit more. Oh yeah, that's better. That's much better. Yeah, I'm happier with that. Okay, so we have that nice little connection going over there. Now we need to kind of build our bridge going over the freeway and then bring it along that way. Before I do that, I want to bring this up the hill. Now that we've started to get this section done. Put my marker road in. Go. This is going to be rough, isn't it? All the way along here, yeah. So that section here is going to need some more work. How's the rest of it look, though? It actually looks pretty smooth. Height looks to be about the same on both lines, both lanes. No major height disparity between the two. That's good. So let's smooth this terrain out. Again, we might need to give it a little bit of a helping hand. Try and smooth all this back down again. So it's tricky terraforming when you're trying to do very specific things. It's not like I wish we could kind of terraform road heights once the road has been placed. I know that's something you can do on PC. It's just not something that we can do on console. It's just, it does make it quite tricky when you're trying to do custom, roads like this. To not be able to just place the road in and then change the height around the road itself. It makes it a bit tougher to do what it is you're trying to achieve. See, now we're starting to get a bit of a height difference between the two. It's to be expected, I suppose. It's It doesn't need to be perfect. It bugs me a little bit when we have that little bit of disparity, but never mind. As long as it's all level by the time we get to the to the crossing, we'll be absolutely fine. And I find one of the easiest ways to do, you know, custom sort of roads like this, where you've just got long curved sections, and you want to keep the spacing good like this, is just every time you draw a piece, is to put a cross piece on like that, so that when you draw the next piece, you know that the spacing is going to be the same. As you can see here, 2 blocks all the way through, from section to section to section. We keep the spacing the same. It just looks better, it looks neater, it looks tidier. And then you can just upgrade the road type to whatever you want it to be, freeway, dual carriageway, whatever. I just find it looks so much better like that. It looks and works better. So the next question is, do we take this all the way over? Yes, we do. So I'm going to need to start curving around again, like that. Put in my 90-degree piece. Get my spacing right. And now we need to start thinking about bringing it around. So I'm just going to straighten up a bit here. There we go. And now we need to curve around for the roundabout. In fact, it might be easier if let's see if I place that about there. Let's go across like that. So this is our central line here. Now we want the roads to be spaced apart enough. So that I can kind of split them a little bit, but also it gives me a straight road edge to work with as we cross over the river. So I take those out there. Stomach is growling at me. I don't know why I've just eaten. Weird digestion noises, I suppose. Okay, so there we go. We have the connection there. Now, this is where it's going to get tricky. I need to go straight for this. I see the river height just messing itself up completely. That should do the job, I think. Yep, height's the same. Distance is the same. Now, the big question is... Actually, no, this is not the big question, but this is a smaller question. Do I get arched bridges? No, I don't. On 2-lane highway. So, 3-lane highway... Why isn't it giving me my suspension bridge? Maybe I've got to actually draw the bridge in manually. Okay, so let's go straight. We've got our connection point just there. So let's take this out. And I do want to see, now if we try drawing this, will it give me an actual proper bridge? Oh, it does. Oh, that's cool. A 2-lane suspension bridge as opposed to a 3-lane one. Let's try one of those. I haven't done those before on this city, so let's do that. Let's take this out. Same again. Perfect. And wouldn't you know, they're even going in the right direction travel-wise. Here is the problem with our riverbed. You can see part of the reason why is it's just the way this bed is shaped. We've kind of broken the bed a little bit with our terraforming, I think. I have to wait for this water to kind of catch up again. But it runs pretty flat all the way down, so you get to a certain point where it just drains the river completely. Should be okay from there, I think. Right, we have our bridge going across, and now we need to connect. I'm going to go back to using standard road again, to freeform. We'll hold it straight for a bit. There we go. Now, is that too severe a turn? I think we can get away with that. Yeah, we can get away with that. And that gives us space for us to really put some off-ramps in. Maybe put some kind of off-ramp coming in off this corner here. So we can go into this area over here. Yeah, I like that. And then from here we need a connection coming off this way. So that's going to be sort of about here. It's not quite spaced properly, but that's going to kind of come around to here. Just go straight. So about there. It's about a third. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. Ooh. So we just reshape that bit of... I think we might have done. Ever slightly. Not sure. Go back to freeform. There we go. So we have our freeway connection over here, which links into this area just here. And we have our direct route down that way. It's not the most glamorous of connections. It's perhaps a little more convoluted than it needs to be, but again, keeping that flow of traffic moving in the fastest main direction does mean that that bit here becomes more of an off-ramp. Plus it gives us the opportunity to maybe do something down here, perhaps in this area, that we can also link into this junction. We'll see. And then we've obviously got space to expand along this bit here as well with that space. So generally pretty happy. Let's start upgrading our roads. So this is all 3-lane highway down here, isn't it? So I think what we'll do is we'll build the off-ramps as well before we start building the main areas around this way, so that we know where the traffic's going to flow to. You know what? This could be quite busy. Let's upgrade it to a 3-lane. We've got enough width between them, as you can see, to be able to do that. It just keeps, you know, the spacing right. We're going to need to do a little bit of directional change and then take all these little connecting pieces out as well. Our little guide pieces. There we go. Right, we need to change direction. That's all going the right way until we get to here. Change the direction there. There we go. And it didn't give us an error either because of these connecting blocks here. So the traffic had a legitimate way to kind of flow a little bit. You know, a bit weird, but it technically wasn't, you know, a blocked road. Oh, and then we need to do this, don't we? Upgrade. This is where it's going to get interesting. This is potentially going to be a very busy road, so I want this to be a 4-lane roundabout around here. We can always downsize it if we need to. There we go, and already we're getting traffic using it, which is pretty awesome. Fantastic stuff. And let's make this... there we go, 2-way highway. So again, we'll go to upgrade. And we can then hopefully divert quite a bit of the industrial traffic that way as well with a faster route. I wonder. We're still getting traffic trying to turn where it shouldn't be allowed to turn. That's a bit sneaky. See, watch that middle red van. Oh, he's actually going the right way, so maybe the traffic's just adjusting. So the new lane system. You know what, I'm going to take that across to there, to that junction there. I think that'll just give the traffic more time to actually prepare for which lane it needs to be in. Although, to be fair, I think it's either going to be in the left or the right, and not in the middle. It gives the I suppose it gives a lane for emergency traffic and the odd car. Okay, already seeing a fair bit of traffic using this, which is excellent stuff. Really pleased to see traffic is using our new freeway link over here. So what I'll do off camera is I'll start dropping in some more on and off ramps strategically along the route, try and figure out where those are going to be. And while we're thinking about that, I need to add in some new road names and district names and so on and so forth. So let's see. First up, we have Nikon 005 has asked for a road name, just a simple road name for Adams Avenue. So let's see if we can find a decent road. I think Earl Boulevard could be renamed as Adams Avenue. So let's rename this. There we go, and let's just check the road start and end points. Yep, that's fine, absolutely fine. So we'll do 2 today because we are starting to get a few more requests coming in again. And the other one is a district name. Actually, no. We'll do that one next time out because it's a different person but wanting a similar name, so we'll kind of stagger those 2 across the next couple of episodes. So let's see. Taurus Primus has requested a park to be named for Dale Kelly Senior. So let's see. We've got playground over there. We've got a park just here, I think. Friendly neighbourhood park, yes. So let's rename this park in this district here. So there we go, we have the Dale Kelly Senior Park just there. And there we go, that's our 2 subscriber requests for this particular episode. Don't forget, if you want to be featured in the city somewhere, be it as a park or a service or whatever, then do get your requests in. I do have a list, I am working through it and adding at least 1, if not 2, every episode. Let's stop emptying that. There's another one being emptied somewhere, if I remember rightly. Down here? Yes, there it is. Hiding underneath the district name. And one last thing before we do go as well. Let's check the fill level. We're at 16%, 13%, 28%. That was filling up quite quickly, but not too bad. So, yeah, I think maybe it's just a case of if they're filling up much faster than that, then I think it's just a case of you've only got 1 focal point, you've got too many citizens to sustain just a single bin, but you need to boost your population as quickly as you can to get the incinerator unlocked, so that when it does fill up you can then unload into your incinerator. So you can see here we can empty this and it'll either go into one of these 2 facilities, or more likely it'll go into one of these incinerators. Let's just watch where this traffic actually goes. It just went straight back to the same one. Watching this car, where's he going? Unless he's just doing a drive-by, I suppose, possibly. It's going down. These ones going up. 14, 17. I don't really know. It's hard to tell. But yeah, there we go. So that is the state of our city. Getting very big now, as you can see. The size of that. So big, it actually fits. More. It's too big for my overhead shot like that. But yeah, we are certainly making some really, really nice progress with this city here. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more JBPG City and our City Skylines mass transit playthrough here on the PS4 very soon.